Hi, I'm Melanie from Nova Scotia, Canada, and this is Adventures in Groceryland. This is week 13 and the final week of the $23 grocery budget challenge and pantry build of 2024. This is the meal video. So we've already released the grocery video 5 days ago. So this is showing the meals that we had this week. I am not going to show at the end of this video everything we have left. I'm actually going to upload a total finale of this is all of the groceries that we have accumulated over the 13 weeks. That is going to upload on Monday, so you guys can look forward to that. This week had a couple things that were out of the norm because it was Easter weekend. So number one, we ate out one night because it was a long weekend. We decided to use one of the gift certificates that we had received at Christmas time. Number two, we had company. And as is usual, when we have company, we provide some things, they bring a few things, and we just kind of pool the resources. And number three, we had a big Easter dinner at family. We went to their house. So I did take a little video and a couple pictures so that you could see what we had there. Thank you so much, everybody, for following along for the past 13 weeks. It was really fun for me. And I will say, I accumulated way more groceries than what I had initially thought. I had the expectation that I was going to be able to show that you could slowly accumulate groceries, slowly accumulate a working pantry, even when your budget was really minimal. I just had no idea how successful I was actually going to be. My freezer drawer is jammed. There's no more room in there for any more food, challenge food. I am struggling with the cupboard where I've been keeping all of the challenge supplies. And I think what is even more kind of impressive is that this started out just as me as one person, but really, even before we hit the halfway mark, I was feeding somebody else. So I know sometimes things can seem grim. Groceries are expensive. There's no way getting around that. Groceries are expensive. And I do all kinds of creative things and use all kinds of strategies to get as many groceries as I can on a very small budget. Now, granted, this was extreme. This was a challenge. I don't normally spend $23 a week, but it does go to show that even in grim circumstances, with thought and with planning, that you can be successful and you can thrive. Thank you so much for following along, and I hope you enjoy the meals this week. Soup for lunch today. I garnished it fancy-like with some of my dried parsley. Yummy. Looking forward to lunch. Leftover turkey pot pie for supper tonight. Looks very good. I already drank half of it, but here's a little video showing I'm going to have some grapefruit juice for breakfast today. The handsome one does not really want to eat this soup, but he is going to have a half a bowl because this is what we are having for lunch today. I get a lot of questions about what I use to freeze the little pucks that I make, and I use silicone muffin forms. These are little silicone mini loaf pans. I'm using these for the turkey broth because I'm going to be using this turkey broth for bigger things. So I can freeze more of it together instead of just little pucks. I'm going to be looking for this for making soup in the future. So more than one puck is fine, which there's probably like 4 pucks in each one of these little mini muffin pans, and also gravy. I did freeze a substantial amount of turkey so that at some point in the future we can have hot turkey sandwiches or turkey burgers, hot turkey burgers, and I'll need gravy for that. So like one of these would be perfect for the size for gravy that we would need for something like that. And I still have more. I'm making more. We've been sitting on a lot of gift certificates and gift cards since Christmas. Because this is a long holiday weekend, we decided we were going to use one of the gift certificates. We got takeout. We got 2 different combos. One of the combos had beef and broccoli. The other combo had chow mein. And we just split them when we got home. These are huge, massive meals, but don't be fooled. Even though we used a gift certificate, that's great, so no cash out of pocket. This would have been more than what my weekly budget would have been. So yay, gift certificates, just for true transparency. I'm excited. Looks and smells really yummy. I was initially planning to make a half of a batch of baked beans, but now that we have family coming, I'm going to make the full batch. So the very first thing that we need to do is put the beans in water and let them soak overnight. I've got them covered in water. I'm going to cover these up and just let them soak overnight. Okay, these beans have been soaking overnight. Let's take a little peek. Oh yeah, those look great. Fantastic. I'm going to get those started and get them in the oven right away, even before breakfast. All right. I've got my little ham in the crock pot. I'm going to get some water, some mustard, just get some stuff in here and we'll get this turned on. Okay, I've got some water in there, some mustard. This is just prepared mustard. And I'm just going to rub it all over the ham. Life doesn't have to be super fancy. I promise you this is going to turn out very, very delicious. All right. It's going to cook for hours and hours. It is early. Definitely very early right now. Beans are drained, rinsed, drained again. Now we're going to bring them to a boil here. Boil for 5 minutes and then we'll simmer for about 30. You want the beans to be, when you're done with this, about as soft as you're going to want them when you're eating them. Because once you add them into the mixture with the molasses, like the sugars, they're really not going to soften anymore. So this is an important step. If you cook them too much and they're mushy, they're going to be mushy when you bake them. If you cook them not enough and they're still hard, there's a very, very high possibility that they're still going to be hard when you bake them. Since it is the holiday today, Easter Sunday, I figured we could celebrate with donuts for breakfast. I know, sounds crazy. We never eat breakfast really anyways, let alone donuts for breakfast, but it just feels like a very fun thing to do. Happy Easter, everybody. Okay, we cooked for 5 minutes on boil. I did 20 minutes simmering. I'm going to try one of these. Okay, I'm happy with that. You notice I'm not stirring this because when it gets this far with the beans, you want to really minimize the stirring because it breaks them up and makes them mushy. Okay, so this is a combination of sugar, molasses, mustard, salt, pepper, and I had to go to the house supplies and get something out of my pantry. I did look at the bag to see if I needed anything else in advance, and I missed this. I totally forgot. It's 1 teaspoon of vinegar. So I did have that in my house supply cupboard, and I just grabbed it from there. Sorry, everybody. Just want to be fully transparent about this. I substituted prepared mustard for dry mustard powder. It was calling for 2 teaspoons of prepared or dry mustard, and I just put in 5 teaspoons of prepared mustard as an equivalent. So let's pour this. Oh, and it's also 1 cup of water. some of the sugars there. I'll scrape this all out. And then you cover this with water. And again, I'm being as careful as I can be with the stirring and the evening out of the beans because I don't want to crush those. Cheap bacon works perfect for baked beans. I find that cheap bacon tends to be a bit fattier. However, this package that I bought seems to look amazing. I'm actually going to take about a third of this pack. You can see I've got my kitchen shears out. So I'm probably going to cut those. So cut into some small pieces. With my kitchen shears, I'm just preheating the oven. It's telling me that that's ready now. And I'm going to carefully stir this in once I add water to cover the beans, and then we'll get it in the oven to bake. 300 degrees for 4 to 6 hours. I've got mine at 350, and I will keep a very, very close watch on the beans. I don't separate out the slices of bacon. I just pull out what I'm going to do and snip it all together, and it's just kind of in a little clump, and then I throw it in the beans. I found a very old small onion on the Handsome Ones crisper, or in the Handsome Ones crisper. So you can see here, I've cut that up, added it on top. There's the bacon. Now, the most important part, you have to add liquid. This is just water in the container that I use to make my broth to cover the beans. So you can see like approximately how much is in there now, and I'll just gently move things around to get the bacon buried. Again, I'm not stirring, no big moves with the spoon, just all very gentle to make sure that my beans don't get mushy. And you've always got to be watching your beans when they cook. If the liquid is starting to evaporate, you add more water. And when I do this, I typically add a little bit of molasses in with it as well. You just always want to have lots of liquid in the beans. Okay, this looks pretty good. Wrinkly old onion there. I'm happy with this. Let's get them in. I've got my brown bread in the bread maker. And because people often ask me about the recipes, I'm going to show both the baked beans and the brown bread. This is for the bread maker. I don't know how this would work if you're just trying to knead it and put it in the oven. And then this are the ingredients that you are going to need for baked beans. I always make the recipe on the back of the Webster's package. It's for a pound of baked beans. Enjoy! After an hour and a half, this is what it looks like. Okay. I'm still happy with the level of liquid in here. Smells good. Okay, that can go back in. I just added about 3/4 of a cup of water. I drizzled molasses across the top. The beans were getting a little dry. I will very carefully work the molasses in to the water, and then we'll put these back in. This is an hour since the last time I checked them. Blueberry banana smoothies for lunch today with a little bit of spinach. Blueberry smoothies. My little bricks turned out great. Ooh, See here, and here's the little silicone forms. And I decided to do bricks instead of pucks because what I'm using the turkey broth for will be more than what I'm using the chicken broth. Sometimes I just use a little chicken broth to flavor rice or to flavor a recipe, and I only need a puck. But these ones, it's way less work to freeze them in the big bricks together, and these ones are going to be turkey soup and gravy. These look amazing. We are at the 3.5 hour mark right now. They're going back in. I don't need to do anything. This looks so good. You can't have dry beans. We've got the beans are done. The ham is done. We just put this pasta and vegetable medley in. I'm excited. Everything smells delicious. Can't wait to eat. The bread turned out amazing. Smells really good. It's still warm because it took 4 hours and 20 minutes to do brown bread. Much, much longer than white or whole wheat or any other regular kind. We had pumpkin pie for dessert, and I forgot to take the video before we ate the dessert. This is what is left. My sister brought a scramble with her. It comes pre-frozen. It is the hash browns, the peppers, there's sausage in there, and then she added eggs in. We're going to have these on wraps that I got out of the freezer, topped with cheese and salsa. This is Seconds turkey stuffing. So this is potato stuffing or dressing and turnip and squash mashed with cinnamon and nutmeg and peas and gravy. This is the dessert table. There is cherry cheesecake, pineapple cheesecake, banana cream pie, and lemon pie. Donuts for breakfast. I know, it's a bit trashy. The handsome one already ate his, but every once in a while, it is okay to have a donut for breakfast. I'm starting to make a soup. This is ham. It's broth. There's the ham bones in there. Water. I have split peas. This is left over from one of the first weeks when I thought I was buying lentils, and I actually bought split peas. Got a carrot. I went through the Handsome Ones drawer now that I have access to the full house, and I found the remnants of an old stew pack. So there's a part of a turnip in there, a whole turnip, a part of a parsnip. There was some cabbage. So I'm going to add some of that in and then see what else I have. I'm probably going to add in a can of diced tomatoes if I have one. And we'll see what else. This is what we've got in here so far. Looking good. I still need to scrounge around to see what other ingredients I'm going to add. Definitely looking for the tomatoes. I do have canned tomatoes. Yay, I'm going to put this whole can right in there. This is already making the house smell really, really good. I'm excited, and we have brown bread left, so this is going to be fantastic. When my sister came to visit on the weekend, she brought this hummus with her for us to try, and I love it. It's very yummy. Highly recommend. It is caramelized onion, and I'm just going to have some of this with some of the crackers that we bought. I ended up adding 2 small potatoes in here and some green beans. This is what the final soup looks like. It's great. Soup for lunch. I am hoping to get 4 days worth of lunches out of this. That would be fantastic. And if there's more, well, great. This is the last of the pot pie, the turkey pot pie we're having for supper tonight. It was a little bit dried out a little bit. So I decided to whip up some gravy to put on top, and I topped it with a little bit of cheese. Yeah, leftovers for supper. Ham soup for lunch today. Yummy. We are getting these hash brown patties out of the house supplies. We are going to add them to the baked beans leftovers that we have, and we're going to have breakfast for supper. It's going to be the rest of the bacon package, baked beans, fried eggs, and hash browns. These turned out great. I'm really excited. Breakfast for supper. Now all we need is ketchup. Adding brown bread toasted to go with our breakfast for supper, Hascap jam for the handsome one, and cheese whiz for me because I have access to it now. Yay! Bagels with peanut butter for breakfast. That's a lot of peanut butter. The handsome one made these ones. It's very melty. Ham soup for lunch today. We are having nachos for supper. Mushrooms, ground beef, green peppers, onions. These are pickled hot peppers that I made last fall, cheese, and I think that's everything. These look delicious, and we are going to serve them with sour cream and homemade salsa. Yummy. The week is over, and as something unique to week 13, halfway through the week, so starting on April the 1st, I had access to all of the food that I have in the house, all of the supplies, not just the challenge supplies. And interestingly enough, I did not use very many of them. I only used a package of wraps that was in the freezer. We had some little mini hash brown patties, again, out of the freezer, different meal. And I had cheese whiz. That's been in the fridge the whole time, but not available to me. So I thought that I would just go crazy and that I'd be eating everything that was unavailable to me for the past 13 weeks. And that hasn't happened because I really feel like I just have so many things that are available to me. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for what's to come.